on that match.
Thanks, gentlemen. We're joined by CLG's bot lane, Doublelift and Afromoo. Guys, congrats on the win and pulling ahead into first, if only for an hour before one of the teams in the next match joins you. How does that feel to own it?
We've done it a bunch of times before, actually. So we're used to it.
A familiar feeling.
Is it getting stale, or are you still happy to be in first?
Well, it's like every time we're in first, then after an hour or the next day, we lose it. So it's like, oh, well, hopefully we can keep it this time.
All right, all right. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about, more about a general thing, which is champion select this split compared to last split. For example, in the ban phase here, you guys threw a lot of TSM-specific bans. They're low ban rate champions, 5% on Renekton, 5%, things like that. So in a split where there's so many more options for picks and bans, what is your general approach? Afromoo, I'll direct that question at you.
Okay. Generally, in champion select, it's you think about the meta, what's OP right now. So we banned Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is played for everywhere now. It's really good. Late game is just dominant, so we had to ban that. And then you think about champion or player-specific bans. Stuff you don't want to see people play, or they're really good at. Dyrus on Renekton, he's really going to Renekton historically, always, yeah. And then Syndra for Bjergsen as well.
Yeah, so that makes a bunch of sense. I actually have to press you on this, though, because during the game, TSM's coach Lokodoko tweeted, CLG picked and banned exactly as we predicted, #TSM win. Apparently, he read you guys like a book. So first question is, does that concern you at all that your champ select is apparently predictable?
No, not when we know what they're going to pick as well, and then they don't play it well. So,
do you think it was... Wow, first of all, wow, shots fired. Second of all...
Took a second to register there.
I was so ready with my other questions. I wasn't prepared to respond to everything you said. But then, too, so then how much weight do you put onto how you play the game versus how you prepare the game with picks and bans? Because it seems like, oh, well, they just played it wrong. Like, was it worrisome that what if they played it right? Were they going to beat you with predictions?
Normally, for us, it's not really what about their game that they want to play. We just play our own game. It doesn't matter if, they predict us, because we're going to play our game and we're going to shit on you.
All right. Shots
Free.
Fired free.
I'm just kidding. TSM actually played very well.
Yeah, they did.
If you look at that game from an objective standpoint, they played well. Honestly, they did.
Actually, one further press, actually, for you specifically, since Afro was shooting bullets in the air the whole time. Peter, so apparently you had to ban Kog'Maw. Traditionally, you're really slow at picking up new AD carries. It took you like months for the Lucian hype train. Yeah. Maybe it's going to take you a while for the Kog'Maw hype train.
No, I'm already on the Kog'Maw hype train. I think every competitive AD carry right now knows how strong Kog is.
Why didn't you play it?
Why didn't I play it?
Yeah.
Well, our strategy was to ban it for various reasons that I don't want to talk about. But I'm sure Turtle plays it, Sneaky plays it, Cod plays it. Pretty much everyone plays it. Actually, the only LCS AD carry I don't see play it much is Cutie Pie. But I'm sure he can play it as well. I mean, everyone knows how to play Kog'Maw, and he's just so strong right now.
All right, well, talking about how well TSM played this game, as you said they did, given the fact that we saw Seraph get behind a little bit, there was one successful gank top for him, but following that, he went down on CS. They had a failed counter gank. What does that do to the other lanes, especially Afromoo and Link as shot callers, when one lane is losing? Like, how does that transfer into your bot lane?
Well, for us, whenever I see 3 people top lane, and I know Seraph's getting, just 3-man, and I know the feeling of getting 3-man, I just know we can play super aggressive. And at that exact same time, because TF ported top, it frees up Link to do whatever he wants. And he's like, can I come bottom and can we just kill these guys? And we were like, yeah, we could totally do it. So we just dove them 3v2. And actually, Eve came to counter gank, and she died too. So it was just like a really perfect situation for us. So whenever you try to snowball your top lane, your bottom lane should suffer. And there's always a back and forth.
I'm actually glad you bring up the Bjergsen ultimates, because we actually have our replay, if we can pull that one up. It's about 23 minutes in. Starts out with I guess a questionable TF ulti, if you want to walk us through this fight.
I don't know.
Oh, he's going for the dragon.
I tell he's in the drag.
Dexter soloing drag, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what happens. I think Dexter just gets a good smite here. Bjergsen should not have carded dragon for the steal. Instead, should have gold carded Dexter so that he couldn't jump him like this. And he just dies for free. And right here, Afro's calling me to come kill Turtle. He flashes, and that's super important for the next fight because he flashed and he still died. It would have been fine if he flashed and he lived, but Turtle flashed and died. And so next fight, it's guaranteed win. And then they're just split up because I guess it was kind of a panic call, like, oh my god, he's on dragon, we have to stop it. And they're split up.
So in the rest of the game, you guys seem to be mostly in control, aside from that late game where you lost 4 champions top of their nexus. Other than that, but when you're starting to grow a lead like this, how do you kind of keep the train rolling? How do you keep the ball rolling?
Honestly, you have to not be scared. And I think at the end of the game, we were really scared to end the game when Tristan had no flash for a minute when we were sieging bottom tower, and we're like, okay, we can dive, but like we weren't actually doing it. And it's just you have to be confident in yourself to be able to end the game properly and not be too worried about like repercussions because you're so far ahead.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, one final question for you guys is that you've got Dig tomorrow, and now we don't know how the game later today is going to finish. It being them being one of the teams that might be contesting you for first place, how important is that game, and what is the preparation that you're going to be doing even through the rest of today for tomorrow's game? Double lift?
It's super important, obviously, just to beat every team. Just because Dig is first place doesn't mean that I think that the win against them is any more important than like a win against Curse or Complexity. But right now, Dig seems to be losing to us. I think they're 0-2 or maybe even 0-3 so far in the regular season. And yeah, they just have a lot of trouble against us, and I hope that they haven't really figured it out. Because like it's kind of hard when you're winning against a team to understand exactly like why you're crushing them so bad. But it's really easy when you're losing to identify the mistakes and kind of fix them. So it's the onus is on them to fix their mistakes rather than us like changing any of our game plan or anything like that. But obviously 4.11 is like a big change for every team, so I'm interested to see how they adapt.
Absolutely. Afroman, anything to add on to that, or is that about it?
That's it.
All right. Well, by the way, it is 0-2 against you guys, but best of luck in making it 0-3 tomorrow, and thanks for joining us here on the desk with all of your insight. Now we've got to take a 210-second Nocturne ult coming our way. When we get Vision back, we'll be diving into our final LCS match, LMQ versus Dignitas. The NA LCS returns after this.